Governor of California Gavin Newsom was trashing the Republicans, saying all kinds of awful things about conservatives and perhaps crossing the line big time. But now he's doing a 180. He's done. He's reversing course. And why? Well, of course, because of the tragedy. Today, we'll show you what's going on with the governor of Hollyweird. Hello, folks. Welcome back. We're so happy that you're with us. This is the place to be if you want to know what's happening all across the entertainment world as well as pop culture. And the bubble has popped when it comes to the governor of the throne of entertainment, L.A., Hollyweird. Let's dive in right now. Folks, click the like button and drop a comment down below. Let us know, do you think Gavin Newsom crossed a line that should never be crossed? We'll bring on a panel that should never be tossed aside. Video of excellence. Here we go. All right, this was from Gavin Newsom on 2:53 p.m., September 10th. The attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. Well, good. I would hope that's what people say, right? Gavin Newsom, of course, is the governor of California. He wants probably to make a presidential run. Good. Everybody's happy about that? Well, if that was all, folks, we wouldn't have a story today. Guess what? It's not all. Here's what Gavin Newsom had to say just previously before he reversed course so strongly. This is from the month of August. This is what Gavin Newsom was saying. We need to have a serious conversation about the rhetoric. And sorry, but it's coming from one side.
Radical rigging of an election, destroying, vandalizing this democracy, the rule of law. So I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I'm going to play it again. I'm going to start where he tenses up, when he purses his lips. He's a bulldog, this Gavin Newsom. He's not going to allow conservatives to do what conservatives do, which is try to win an election fairly. Here we go.
With all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
All right, that's the governor of Hollyweird. Marty, I want to go to you first. You're running for Congress in the state of Nevada. What are your thoughts on this kind of rhetoric and where it leads, and I guess where it has led? I'm not trying to claim that Gavin Newsom is to blame, but I'm here to say that the temperature has been way too high for way too long. They've wrongly characterized our leaders, our politicians, those they disagree with, those they're in competition with, in ways that are atrocious and evil. And I don't appreciate that the world of entertainment seems to bow down to this Gavin Newsom guy. What are your thoughts on what he had to say?
Well, believe it or not, I just published an op-ed. It was on Blaze Media because I met Gavin 20 years ago when Halo was honored with a star for the Walk of Game. Anybody remember that? There was a few games honored in San Francisco. And that night I got to go to the luminary party and meet the luminaries, of which the mayor of San Francisco was one of them. And I met this guy with, a gallon of hair gel on his head and his super white teeth. And he's scanning the room looking for other people who were more important than me, which that's exactly what he looked like. Thank you.
Hey, was the president of China there? Was he looking for him?
All I remember is the mayor of San Francisco. What's funny about it was I thought, what a joke, what an empty shell of a human being. He seemed like a soulless person. Even then, I went home to my wife and I said, I just met, the most cartoonish politician you could imagine meeting. I'm not kidding. I said this, and I just said, thank God he'll never get out of San Francisco. So apparently I'm not all that good at predicting things, unlike Mark here.
I'm so sorry, Marty. I wish your assessment had come true, but we all got doomed to a little Gavin.
For me to see him, he tried for like 10 seconds I think he was with Charlie Kirk on a podcast, and he was trying to be, I'm going to just talk and have civil conversations and all the rest. And then he realized that he wasn't getting any donations. So immediately he starts swearing and he starts talking tough and he's going to fight fire with fire and he's going to smash mouth politics. I mean, he's a nothing, and he should be ignored. And I'm shocked that the people of California still buy into his fakery.
Mark, what about the fakery? How does that play with the left? And you know, he has a lot of support from the celebrities. So how is this going to play out over the coming days? And does this still resonate with his constituencies when he comes out and he talks so tough and purses his lips and talks about punching people in the mouth? Does that play well to them?
You know, his constituencies are really good at being selective about what they internalize as part of the problem. They're in a really weird spot, the Democrats. There's a lot of paradoxes going on. Like long term, the Democrat electoral map is horrifying. They're going to fix the 2020 census maybe. The new 2030 census is going to take away a whole bunch of seats from the Democrats. Republican states are going to redistrict more. And people are registering more Republicans than they are Democrats. So all long term, that's all really, really bad. But the Republicans are objectively not fulfilling their mandate right now, and they're losing to Democrats in the generic ballot, which means the Republicans are probably going to lose the House in November of 2026. So that leaves, okay.
Tell us why, though, Mark, because some people are going to hear that, and we're passing by a little quickly. Why do you believe that the Republicans will lose the House unless something significant changes?
The Republican Party there is to maximize the amount of grift and to maintain the status quo power structure. Period. End of story. It's not about getting candidates elected that represent the agenda that American voters want. Period. End of story. Now, they'll pat themselves on the back if they won because of Trump, and they'll convince themselves it's because Trump made everybody conservative. And that's not what happened. In fact, only 58% in our polling, only 58% of Trump's support in November was from Republicans, self-ID'd Republicans. 30% of it was from independents. Another 10% was from Democrats. So now the idea that all of a sudden those people are going to also come out and support Republicans is absolute lunacy. Yet that's what every Republican seems to believe. And so how do they get those voters to convert? Well, the party has to do Trump stuff. And Trump is doing Trump stuff right now, but the party is not. They're sitting down in Washington, D.C. They're passing nothing. No, the promises that Mike Johnson made on November 12th were really big. We're going to hang a MAGA banner in the halls of Congress. That objectively has not happened. The one bill they passed that meant anything was a D.C. abortion that's probably been being written for the last 4 years. And so people are looking at Republicans and not seeing that they're fixing the problem. Everybody was happiest when Elon Musk was taking a hatchet to the federal government.
Mark, they can't even get rid of the time change. Like 90% of the country wants it gone, and they can't even do it. Like there's nothing that they achieve. It's the perfect opening, though, for somebody like Marty to come in, because Marty is running for Congress in Nevada. Marty, tell the folks out there where they can go to support you, because I know we need people like you in Congress.
Yeah, I need as much support as I can get. MartyForCongress.com is where you go. I'm there's one of 13 districts in the entire country that voted for Trump and also voted in a Democrat. And so it's very, very easy. Well, not easy to flip. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of effort to flip this. But we have a real shot here in District 3, Nevada, to get rid of the Democrat Susie Lee and put in me, a lifelong conservative Republican. I'm a strong Trump supporter, and we need 4 years of Trump and the Trump administration. Otherwise, we'll have 2 years plus 2 years of chaos and impeachments and lawfare. So yeah, MartyForCongress.com.
Sorry if I came out too hot. Did I put you in a bad spot?
No. I'm afraid we lose the midterms. I think it's going to be a disaster if we do.
Right, and that's why
right now, and it's D+3, and
that's why action has to happen.
Yeah.
Richard Barris
his
as
race
well.
Could be fine. It's just nationally the trend. I'm not pulling his race. He could pull out fine, and yeah, that's one of the things. A lot of the marginal seats are favorable to Republicans, maybe picking them up. There's a lot of things that could happen, not least of which is Trump election integrity reforms, going after Act Blue, doing all this stuff. But I'm just saying, like, the polling change needs to happen, and Americans are going to increasingly demand change.
Yep.
Trump's not on the ballot. That's what people have to realize. And without him on the ballot, well, a lot of that contingent doesn't actually come out. And remember what happened in 2024. A large swath of the base. I mean, every single percentage point absolutely mattered. And you've seen some drop off right there, like Mark Mitchell has mentioned. I know Mark, you've been on Richard Barris's show as well. He's been sounding this alarm bell, talking about the midterms and how crucial that is, and how you have a bunch of people who are populist in the country, not necessarily Republicans, and there is definitely a disconnect there for sure. But when it comes to Gavin Newsom, this is why Gavin Newsom feels that he has a little bit of an in, right? And I do think that's misplaced. I think a lot of people remember his track record when it came to COVID, and they haven't forgotten that. And I don't even know if he would be elected in his state, much less the actual country, especially the Midwest and so forth. I don't think he has any base there, that's for sure. And you definitely need that in various areas of the Sun Belt in order to get elected. So, he's, I think Marty was perfect in his summation. He started out, let's go ahead and let's come together and so forth. Let's do the Charlie Kirk thing. And then obviously didn't get much traction. Now he's going crazy on social media and so forth. And yes, his social media presence has increased. That's no question about that. But will actually manifest into anything political? I'm not entirely sure, because people remember what happened in 2020.
Well, here's what's happening in 2025. Jimmy Kimmel, who would be Mr. Gung-Ho when it comes to Gavin Newsom, is reacting to the tragedy and saying, instead of angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it's horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? And here's the problem for Jimmy Kimmel. You come out every day and you paint one side of the aisle in sort of this, evil, monstrous way, and then that side of the aisle gets treated as if they need to be eliminated. And maybe you need to lower the rhetoric, not just one day, but every day. Now, I know I'm not here to censor. I'm not here to tell comedians what it is they can joke about. But Disney, as a company, might want to look at the late night show and say, is this really where we want to go every single day, every single night, the same lines over and over and over? But I will say, good on Jimmy Kimmel to at least put this out there. When you hear that Jimmy Kimmel's going to weigh in on the tragedy, you don't know exactly where he's going to go. Lauren, hop in here for a minute, though, and share with us your thoughts on Gavin Newsom and the calls for, I don't know that he was, he may have been speaking metaphorically, but the temperature was way up there. And I think that those on the left who have been playing this game, at least for the short terms, ahead of the midterms, they're going to have to stop it.
I think probably the last person in the world who should talk about fighting fire with fire is Gavin Newsom. I don't think
he can't even fight fire with water.
Oh, quote of the night. Quote of the night goes to Lorne. Well played.
I don't think that's a winning proposition for him. When it comes to Jimmy Kimmel, I suppose that I'd be happy to come together with you if I believed that you held those beliefs last week. So I don't put a lot of weight or stock in anything that he has to say currently. I think the situation that we're in right now is going to call for all of us to be a little bit more like Charlie Kirk. I think that for a long time, we've kind of been silent while the left has been allowed to run rampant with their designs on society for about the last 10 years. A lot of times that means we've kind of kept quiet. And I think maybe it's time to get a little bit louder. A lot of times when I'm thinking about things like this, I go back to thinking about what the founders said. And one of them was that right now, we're all going to have to hang together because we're surely going to hang separately otherwise. Yeah. The other thing is we're going to have to be a little braver about potentially putting our own I don't necessarily want to say lives, but it could come to that on the line when it comes to speaking honestly about what's going on and making sure that we're holding our government officials accountable. And that means that we have to pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And that's kind of a heavy thing to try and pledge. But if we want to change the society, we're going to have to start by holding our officials and our media accountable. And that means sometimes we're going to have to put ourselves in some uncomfortable places. And ultimately, I think that that means we're going to have to be speaking a little more truth.
Yeah, I don't think that change happens without some discomfort and without some sacrifice. Like, I don't know of anything in this life. I mean, even when you talk about relationships, you gotta make some sacrifices to make relationships work, right? And so I don't know how you can nonchalantly sit back in a recliner and think that the world's going to change in your favor just because you will it to be such, good luck with that. I mean, I don't think your bed's going to make itself that way either. Mark, I do have a curiosity, though. Lauren was talking about the left, and one of the things that crossed my mind is this is not your daddy's left. And, I wondered, Mark, do you have any polling? Like, what are we looking at when we talk about the left today versus where it was in the 90s? Like, what constitutes the left? What is that now?
Like we said, it's a religious cult where they basically worship authority. They love cohesion, and they will change their mental fact set and logic on a dime without any self-introspection in order to feel like they're part of the tribe. That's literally what they do. Now,
is that the appeal? Is the appeal to feel like you're part of the tribe and therefore you gain all the virtues, like by osmosis, you get all the virtues of the tribe without having to put any individual effort into it?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more complicated and probably involves virtue signaling and moral authority and wanting to be right and power and maybe just a vested interest in these authority structures. And again, I'm generalizing. There's a lot of fluff in the middle of just normies that will vote for random reasons or because it's cool or whatever. But on the bookends, I'm saying it stands for nothing except to be in power no matter what. And as far as Gavin Newsom, like, let's not forget that 40% of his own state voted to recall him. So they're not a monolith. But what you see now is, like, I laid out all the problems they have. There's a power vacuum right now. And what you're seeing is people jockeying for position to take over that power vacuum. The front runner is Kamala Harris, and she's nowhere to be found. She by far still polls higher than any of the other Democrats. They literally don't know who should lead them. So she's MIA. All the establishment Democrats like Schumer just get absolutely brutalized if they come out and say anything on Twitter. And so this guy's out there, actually resisting Trump. And so that's what makes him popular in all the liberal echo chambers, and probably most specifically with the funding. So I think he's trying to raise money. He's trying to raise his personal profile. And unfortunately, he's got a ceiling because he's a lizard person. He's not going to win.
I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but who put that picture in there? Hang on, it'll come back up again. That was too good. Oh, come on. Poor Gavin.
That's officially my favorite photo of him.
Low blow, Vash. Vash made the B-roll. Low blow, Vash. At least we know he's got some red blood in there somewhere. Kevin, hop in here and give us your thoughts on the situation with Gavin Newsom and these others who were calling with such vitriol for quasi-violence.
Well, listen, the thing with Gavin Newsom, aside from his stupid supervillain haircut, is that at the end of the day, this guy knows he can't win. He's trying to hoard the money so he can play kingmaker. The guy is a joke. The only thing he is the epitome of disingenuousness. So he's just trying to hang in there, being Timu Trump. Is it working for him? Only with a bunch of psychopaths who fall for that nonsense. Everybody else is standing inside laughing at the guy. We see through it. It's sad in all honesty, but what do you expect from a guy who stole his best friend's wife? If it wasn't for jungle primaries, the guy probably wouldn't win. But California's going to California.
Well, he'll burn down every jungle they got, Kevin. I mean, that's what's amazing about him. If they got a jungle, he'll burn it to the ground. Kevin, the other thing about this guy is, what does it say about the left if he's in the lead as the guy going up against Trump? He just oversaw an area the size of Paris in Los Angeles burned to the ground. The size of Paris.
Here's the thing about the left. The left can always count on Republicans to screw the pooch. We watched them implode in 2006, and no one can say why. We're watching them ride Trump's coattails and not do anything. If history has taught us anything, it is that the GOP is as feckless as it is craven. So the only time they get anything done is when a grassroots movement like the Tea Party drags them over the finish line, or like someone like Reagan or Trump drags them over the finish line, or hopefully one day someone like Marty drags them over the finish line. They win because they screw the pooch. The left doesn't have to do anything. The left, I've said it 1,000 times, the left doesn't change because the left feels like it doesn't have to change. It just doubles down, hires a new PR agency, and waits for a Republican to screw it all up for everybody. So I am nervous about the midterms because look at what we're getting. This should be a laydown. The tsunami, red tsunami shouldn't even be the word. It should be like an Armageddon-sized comet heading towards the Earth that's just all red. Because everybody's sick of this crap. People want to be able to let their daughters walk to the park without worrying about something happening. You want to be able to have a conversation without worrying about some psychopath trying to cancel you. You want to be able to listen. Charlie got what happened today because someone decided they wanted to shut down discourse. He was attacked because he was effective, because he was genuine, because he was relatable, and because he made a difference. I wish people would focus on that. This happened because he had an opinion, and it was different from someone, and that is as untenable as it gets.
It's hard to follow on the words of Kevin Apollo because he's fantastic and all true, and everybody on this panel tonight's fantastic. Marty, some of the words that I was listening to when I was just backstage, agree with it 100%.
Thanks.
But I want to. There's a bigger look. I mean, you look at Gavin Newsom and all of a lot of the Democrat rhetoric. I can't even remember the lady's name was calling, but said, if you see any people that support Trump, go attack them, and that kind of thing. That rhetoric was going on for a while.
Waters.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time, and it's very unfortunate. But Charlie Kirk, this didn't happen to him because of religion. This happened to him because of a simple thing, freedom of speech, and that he had a different opinion. However, it certainly carries historical precedent that he is, in fact, while not a religious martyr, he has become a martyr. Something has happened that has changed the outlook of the country. And when you look at the things that have happened in the past, when they have been associated with religion, when you had, and I'm not trying to make him out to be messianic or anything like that, but when you look at the rhetoric that you read in the Bible about the attacks against Jesus by those in politics, those, whether it's the Romans or the Jews that were in power at the time, all of those people attacking him, and then finally he was martyred.
Ron, are you trying to, let me see if I can distill this. Are you suggesting that turning point is the tipping point?
Exactly. And what I'm trying to say is the attack on somebody like a Charlie Kirk, it never ends up achieving the goal of the person who did that. It has literally not only the opposite effect, but in a massive way. So I have a feeling that for me, when I saw this today, I said, I think this is maybe the end of the leftist march and their fight forward, because something happened today that changed all of that. And the way I feel about it, they no longer have they can't virtue signal anymore. They can't do this anymore because they're showing their hand, and their hand is not on the right side of history here. Their hand is very much on the wrong side of history. And we see that they took away a husband, a loving husband from his wife. They took away a loving father from his kids. And that cannot happen. That cannot stand in this country. Last week, an innocent young lady lost her life for no reason other than getting on a train. It's ridiculous. This is a tipping point in this country, and I hope it's in a good way. It's kind of scary because we don't know what happens next, but I certainly would be sending out a lot of prayers for the country, and hoping that we all learn as a society the direction that this needs to go. And the direction that it needs to go is that we learn that we are all humans and we need to learn how to love each other and respect each other. Charlie Kirk was excellent at respecting the opposite side. We all need to learn that.
Pulling Hollyweird to the sensible center of the mainstream middle where money is made is not easy, but folks, you make it easy to make videos each and every day because sharing time with you is a great honor and we never take it lightly. An attitude of gratitude every single time we have the chance to shine with you. Until the next time, we only ask that you click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, don't worry about paying any kind of tuition for this free class and how entertainment works. You are on scholarship. Highest IQ on the internet. That's you for sure. Until the next time we have the opportunity to spend time together, folks, we just ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
Want it all, so I give them cannonball. Yeah.
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be up. 3 days of you and me.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.